Newcastle 3, Aston Villa 3. What a frantic match that was. End-to-end stuff. It could have ended up 6 goals each quite easily. But what did we learn from Newcastle's performance last night? What were the positives and what were the areas of improvement? In this video, I'm going to give my thoughts on the match last night. It's coming up. Welcome back, it's Eddie here from Tyneside Life. We're no longer in Philadelphia. Helen and I caught a 5:30 a.m. flight from Philadelphia, and I'm now stood in the famous Olympic Park in downtown Atlanta. So we didn't have a hotel room last night because of the early start, the early flight. So we dossed around in the hotel lobby. I spent about 3 hours after the match putting the video together that I've already released. If you haven't seen it, you need to check it out. Then we had to go to the airport, obviously get the flight. So I'm still in the same clothes I was in all day yesterday in the baking heat at the tailgate party. Then the match. I feel dirty, sweaty. We can't check into a room until 3 o'clock. It's only about 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning here in Atlanta. It's things you do, you know, to make YouTube videos for you guys, but I do love it. Before I get into what I thought about the performance last night, I just want to give a huge thank you to everybody who's supporting my channel, who's watching, who's subscribing, who are making donations to help me create more content for you guys. It's really, really appreciated. I'm on 200 subscribers short of 30,000, and I'd love to hit that target by the end of this month. So if you're watching this video, please consider subscribing. It doesn't cost you anything, it just means you'll get a notification every time I release a new video, and that's really appreciated. So before I get into what I thought about the performance last night and the whole experience, a little disclaimer. I was there live, obviously. I haven't had the benefit of watching it on the telly, watching slow motion, listening to the commentators, and then expert pundit analysis. I was sat with a couple of thousand Geordies singing me head off, getting distracted now and again. So that's the context of my impression and what I thought of certain aspects of the game. So don't give us a hard time if I've said something that doesn't fit with your narrative or your opinion of the game. I just want to give you my impression, what I thought. The first thing I'd like to discuss is the formation, because Eddie Howe last night went with a 3-4-2-1 formation, which he doesn't do very often. I understand why he did that. Of course, these pre-season friendlies are important, but they're also an opportunity for Eddie Howe to get as many players as he can, getting matches into their legs to raise their fitness, but also to test certain players in different positions and in different formations, because the season coming up is going to be massive. We're in the Champions League, obviously we're going to be playing more games, and he's going to be utilising a squad rotation system much more than what he did last season. And of course we've already had a couple of new signings as well, with Tonali and Harvey Barnes. So within that context, I fully understand why Eddie Howe wanted to tinker with the formation, play some players out of position as well, because clearly we can't play every match for 90 minutes in a 4-3-3. There are going to be occasions this coming season, this big season, where we're going to become a bit unstuck against teams like Villa, who skinned us at Villa Park last season, and the Man Cities and the Arsenals, etc. So we need to be able to adapt and change. So it's great that Eddie Howe saw that as an opportunity to tinker with that formation, to see what the world looks like with particular players in particular positions. So did it work? Well, I think you have to show a little bit of sympathy because of what I've just said, because clearly in the first 15 minutes, Aston Villa were by far the dominant team that tore us apart, and within 11 or 12 minutes or so, they were 2-0 up, and I thought, oh my God, this is going to be a whitewash. So clearly, although the system wasn't working, there will be some benefits to what he did. Eddie Howe will be able to see who adapted well in those particular positions. But as the first half went on, you could see that we managed to start to get a grip of the game. I thought we took control without being completely threatening. It was still even in terms of chances. I think that would have opened Eddie Howe's eyes up as to the defensive strategy that we use with 3 men in defence, because clearly it didn't work, because they scored both of their goals from where Kieran Trippier was. You know, I can't blame Trippier. It was a new system, but yeah, I think Eddie Howe needs to go back to the drawing board to look at that. Something else I think we all learned last night, if we didn't already know, is our Geordie Maradona, Elliot Anderson. He has to have a special mention for praise, because I thought he was excellent again, and I think he's going to be a big player for us this coming season. Of course, early on we could have scored a goal. Miggy cut the ball inside. I think it was Elliot Anderson, but I was at the opposite end of the pitch. Had a sky shot an air shot and completely missed the ball. But after that, of course, he scored a goal with a really calm head and a really great layoff as well, a great assist. So overall, I was really, really impressed with Elliot Anderson. Talking of central midfielders, Lewis Miley come on in the second half again. I give a comment about him after the Rangers match, and I have to again in this video as well, because what a good player this lad is going to be. He's tall, he's athletic, cool and calm as a cucumber, clearly very skillful and tactically aware. Another player I think we should be really excited about, and I think we're going to see a lot more of him in the coming season. I also want to mention the position of centre forward with Alexander Isak or Wilson. Which one's going to start? In my opinion, based on what I saw last season, based on the performances at Rangers and last night, I don't think Alexander Isak's best position is a centre forward position. I think he has so much talent in other areas. He loves, I think, playing on the wings. I think we see a better version of him on the wing and picking up the ball deep, taking on players. He can create space and cutting inside and laying the ball off. I just think Callum Wilson is a better goal poacher. He's that player that's in the middle that receives the header or the layback. And for me, I'd much prefer to see Wilson in that central centre forward position. Is Matty Targett's best position on the left hand side of a four-man midfield? I don't think he is, but I think he did all right, and it was a good opportunity for Eddie Howe just to test him in that position to see how he got on. Of course, we had Paul Dummett as well. He's always been a solid and dependable player for Newcastle, and that's how I would sum up his performance last night. There's nothing spectacular about him. He's just solid and dependable. He's a bit like Longstaff, really. And of course you understand why he's had his contract extension, because he's one of only 3 club trained players, which will become very important when we submit list A of our Champions League squad, because we've only got 3 club trained players, we can only submit 24 players in that list A squad. List B, of course, is list A plus any under 21 players. So should we be hypercritical and overreacting because of the goals we let in the performances of 1 or 2 players where it didn't quite work? Of course not. The players need our support. I think there was a lot of benefits in there. Even in the areas where it didn't quite work, it creates that opportunity, like I say, to test some players out and to just raise their fitness levels as well. So for me, everything's good. It was an exciting match. Scored 3 goals. We could have scored 3 or 4. We could have let in 3 or 4 as well. Pulsating match. But all round, yeah, I was really pleased. I'm not downhearted by that. Aston Villa are a really, really good side, and they're going to be up there, probably round about where we are going to be at the end of this season, because Unai Emery is a really smart technician as well, like Eddie Howe. The other thing I want to very briefly talk about is the differences with the whole American soccer experience, how they do things compared to our English football way of doing things. I'm going to do a separate video on this because there's a lot of things I want to talk about. Some areas of how they do things that I really think we should consider adopting for ourselves to make it a better occasion all round, and some other things we really shouldn't be doing what the American fans do. One of them is their chants. Guys, have a word, man, pack it in. You need to take a leaf out of our book in that respect, but other things, I tell you what, loved, broadly speaking, loved the whole experience of going to a soccer match. I know I've got a lot of American viewers now, so forgive us on how they do things, because it was absolutely superb with the tailgate party. The whole stadium experience, how you get in, how important it is for them for security. You know, you can't walk in with a bag like you can in an English stadium. You have to be carrying next to nothing. I couldn't even take my tripod in. An army of staff everywhere to either help you or support you, or they're just for security. They really do look after the whole fan experience, and inside the stadium as well, with the tannoy system, but also the live commentator within the ground, mingling with the fans. It was really very impressive. I was really impressed. But anyway, I'll save that for a separate video. I'll knock this on the head. I'm knackered. I'm probably mumbling along as well. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up as well, and subscribe to my channel, man. Hit that 30k.